Hello. So I'm on 2 different lives. I have YouTube and Facebook up there and TikTok down here. So if you're seeing me look in this direction, I'm looking at them. And if you're seeing me look in that direction, I'm looking at them. Just so you know. So I'll go between the two. And that's that. How are you doing on this beautiful Monday? I'm just going to stand here and give it a few minutes for those. Actually, I'm going to run that direction and come right back. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to come in and stick around. But I do have a cute picture, or a pretty picture, I don't know. I'll be right back. Hello. Hello. How are you? Sorry, it took me a moment. I went and checked on my dog. And now I'm going to talk about the topics that I wanted to talk about today. And those topics are actually the true sidereal outlook, and then also just talking about embodiment and what does that mean and what does that look like in your life. So I gave people some opportunity to show up for the live, and so we're going to get started now. We're going to get started with the overview as well. So I talk in terms of true sidereal, and each live that I do, I preface it by explaining why that is. And when you look in the sky right now, you'll see the planets are in specific placements. And I'll go through what those placements are currently. But when you go through mainstream or tropical or seasonal is another name that they call it, but through those astrology, it will tell you that the sun and the moon are in placements that they're not actually in physically because it's assigned by a specific date. So those of you that know me know I'm a seeker of the truth. In whatever I'm teaching, I want to seek out the truth. And that's why my other channel is One Truth Sets You Free. And I do a podcast and talk about those things. So you can check that out as well. But if we're doing or honoring the natural flow of the planets and how they relate to our lives and how these celestial bodies impact us, then we should be looking at it from where the planets actually are in the sky and not somewhere else that they are, because it's a specific date, right? And it's a little bit jarring in the beginning. Like if you do your chart through true sidereal and you've only looked at yourself through tropical before, then you'll see that for the most part, you do a shift of one whole sign. So if you were Gemini, you would become Taurus. If you were Leo, you would become Cancer. And some people are just like, wait, what? No way, no way. Right? I went from Sagittarius to what would have been Scorpio, but because true sidereal varies from sidereal in that it also accounts for the 13th sign. So when you move that one placement, you actually move into Ophiuchus. So I'm going to talk about the current planetary placements, and I talk about it based on the actual placement of the planets in the sky as they are at this moment, as opposed to an arbitrarily assigned date. And when I talk about doing rituals or, harnessing the energy of these celestial bodies while they're in specific placements, I'm getting you to do so because that's the placement that it's actually in. It's not something else. It's actually in that. So today, being December 8th, we have the sun in Ophiuchus. It will remain in Ophiuchus until December 17th, late in the day, almost midnight. It will leave and enter into Sagittarius. So it's currently in Ophiuchus. The moon is in Cancer. It goes into Leo tomorrow. Yes, it goes into Leo tomorrow. Mercury is in Libra. Venus moved into Ophiuchus over the weekend on December 6th. Mars is in Ophiuchus. So we have 3 placements so far in Ophiuchus: the Sun, Venus, and Mars. So both the divine feminine Venus and the divine masculine of Mars. We also have Jupiter in Gemini, Saturn in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces, and Pluto is in Capricorn. So that's our lineup for the planets and where they're situated. So we begin this week with the deep glow of the Ophiuchus sun and a Cancer moon. The body and soul are speaking. Can you hear the quiet invitation to come home? The Krystic path teaches us that healing is not an event. It is a reunion with what has always been whole. Ophiuchus is the celestial healer, the 13th gate, the initiator into unification. It does not simply reveal our pain, it transfigures it. With the Sun, Venus, and Mars all in Ophiuchus, the divine masculine and feminine energies are being purified by the flame of remembrance. This trio calls forth truth through love, courage through clarity, and creation through embodiment. Meanwhile, the moon in Cancer turns us inward. This is the mom of the entire astrological wheel. That Cancer energy is very much mom energy. And the moon is also the celestial body that governs the sign of Cancer. So the moon is at home in Cancer. So it's a double dose of that emotional energy. So it reawakens the primal longing for safety, connection, and nurturing. But it does so with spiritual maturity. No longer are we children seeking comfort. We are guardians of the sacred flame within. So this is a moment to mother your own becoming, which kind of makes sense because the other night, recently I moved away from home. Like I moved away from my mom and also my youngest son. So I moved out here because of Hugs for Homeless, my nonprofit. So we distribute hugs into the community, and these hugs are backpacks filled with the with essential needs for the homeless community, and we distribute these backpacks into the community. Anyway, I moved out here for that, and I had my birthday over the weekend, and on the Sunday when I was talking to my mom, I actually was like, I just wish I could get a hug from you. I really had that feeling of really wanting that because, you know, it's something that you miss out on by being at a distance from somebody. So it makes sense with the energies that are at play currently with the moon being in Cancer. So the sun in Ophiuchus is healing through embodied truth. Ophiuchus is often hidden from popular astrology because it dismantles the distortions. It breaks open false light, false timelines, and false power. But for the Krystic initiate, Ophiuchus is the path of sacred medicine. It restores the original blueprint, it brings shadow into transparency, and it opens the gate to the 13th strand Christos DNA activation. So when the sun lights up this constellation, you are invited to illuminate what has been suppressed, reclaim the wisdom from past cycles, and anchor your divine truth as lived embodiment. Okay, so we're back to embodiment. Ophiuchus does not cuddle the ego. It burns through illusion until only essence remains. This is your solar mirror. What are you ready to become? That's what Ophiuchus is going to get you to stand on. That moon in Cancer is that soul nourishment. So Cancer offers that emotional integration after the revelations of the weekend. It softens the inner walls so that divine truth can reach those tender parts. Let this moon remind you that you are allowed to rest, you are safe to feel, and you are held within the body of the mother. Spend time near water if possible. Create rituals of tenderness, and let the tides within you rise, speak, and be heard. That's a huge part of the healing process is validation, right? If you can validate the experience that you had, and you can do so in spite of, you know, the other person taking any responsibility or ownership, then you free yourself from that experience without anything that anyone else has to do from it. That's very wonderful practice to have. Sorry, I'm trying to reach my tea. It was a little bit further over there than. Delicious. Delicious. Hi, Warrior Crystals. How are you? Okay, so the Krystic daily triad. So I'm going to talk about this daily triad because there are different daily triads that we can look at, and I'm going to explain the reason why we look at these different triads. So where did I put my little thingy? Okay, so we have one, which is the Krystic daily triad, and this is true sky weather. This is what we're getting from these placements that we're looking at. So you're looking at the sun, the moon, and the ascendant. Now the ascendant is moving through pretty much every 1 to 2 hours, or 2 to 3, or 1 to 3 hours. Let's just put 1 to 3 hours. We'll give it a good little gap there. And this is the core triad. We also have a psychological triad, and the psychological triad is where we're looking at the moon, Mercury, and Venus. You can use this as a journaling tool or embodiment reflection. And what the moon, Mercury, and Venus are telling you is it's giving you your emotional landscape, it's giving you your mental landscape, also communication with Mercury, and it's also giving you your attractions, desires, and relationship stuff with Venus, because that's what Venus governs. So it's a great tool to use for that. There's also a cognitive triad, and this is where it's just the mental identity more so, and it looks at the sun, the moon, and Mercury. It can be useful because it's telling you the sun is the big expression for the day, right? And then it's looking at the emotional landscape, and it's also looking at your thoughts and communication. So you can understand how looking at those placements could be useful in guiding your day, but they're not essential, and they're not as beneficial as the other two, right? Whether you're using the psychological triad, which is looking at the moon, Mercury, and Venus, or you're looking at the daily triad, which is looking at the sun, moon, and then as you're progressing through the day and it's moving through the ascendant signs, then that's what you're going to be checking, which makes sense because you do change throughout the day. You don't wake up in the morning and feel 100% the same as you do until the end of the day completely. I mean, maybe if you're really good at numbing yourself out to a certain level or something like that, or you're not feeling your body at all. Maybe. All right, so let's talk about the Krystic daily triad. So each morning, anchor your day by connecting to the sacred triad. These are not just concepts, they are living frequencies that will guide your decisions, align your energy field, and awaken deeper memory. I'm teaching people to connect to this triad daily and allow it to guide them. Through this conscious practice, the soul is recalibrated, the body is harmonized, and the spirit is reminded of its original rhythm. This is a Krystic compass for your walk through time. So the divine law of the day is the law of remembrance. All that is true will return to you. Align your thoughts and choices with the knowing that truth is not earned, it is remembered. We have the elemental ally, which is water. Flow, soften, and listen to the voice beneath the surface. Water teaches you to be fluid without losing your depth. Let it show you how to adapt without abandoning yourself. The guardian flame focus is silver blue flame of soul integration, mending what has been fragmented and welcoming it home. Call this flame into your body, your day, your relationships. Let it unify the parts that have long been scattered. So return to this triad throughout the day, speak it aloud, feel it anchor in your field, and let it lead you home to yourself. Sorry, I was like, my throat was just getting to the point where I was going to crack. I needed some moisture. So yummy. So yummy. All right, so we've got our Krystic embodiment prompt, and this is to bridge the Ophiuchus energy of the sun and the Cancer energy of the moon. So we're bridging these two. So we're going to be asking ourselves some questions because bridging this gap is not easy, but it's a very sacred bridge to create. So where have I been denying my own healing? And our ego is really good at protecting us and wanting to keep us in the spot that we are. Our ego loves the comfort zone. It really does. So let's look at that. Second one, what truth is emerging that no longer fits in old containers, right? So you're going to have to be looking at some truths here. That's what the Ophiuchus Cancer connection is going to ask. And then how can I hold myself with radical compassion while still rising in clarity? right? And this is how, like, this is that merging of the masculine and feminine energy, or the mom and the dad, right? The mom is that real compassionate energy, whereas maybe the dad or the masculine energy is that radical honesty that is saying you need to be honest with yourself, right? So if you're saying, you know, like, I'm going to embody my truth, and my truth is to, you know, eat the healthiest way that I can, to live the most organic, healthiest way that I can. If I'm still eating, you know, store-bought and, you know, processed junk foods, then that's me being out of alignment. That's me not, like, lying to myself, right? So I have to hold myself to that radical honesty and say, if that's the identity I have, or that's the truth that I want to live, or that's the person that I want to embody, is someone who's holistic and healthy and doesn't eat toxins like that, because we know how much junk is going into our food chain nowadays, right? Like, we can't even trust half the stuff that we're eating. So if I believe that, then I can't engage in consuming those things, right? That's how you have to hold yourself to that accountability. But you can be compassionate with yourself and understand, you know, that things are very addictive in this world. They're made that way on purpose. There's emotional ties to it, understanding why you're doing it and working through it. And that's the whole transmutation of what we are, you know, what we're supposed to be doing, is that transmutation of the past energies that we've held on to from our traumas and experiences, so that we can free ourselves from it and no longer be carrying those stored things that are just causing us problems. So let the inner flame and the inner waters meet. That is the alchemy of this day. So walk gently but boldly. You are not here to be comfortable. You are here to become holy. Okay. And that's devotion. You have to be devoted to your path, whatever your path is. Doesn't matter what it is. If you want to be a, you know, world famous guitar player, then you have to play your guitar. If you want to run a marathon, you have to lace up your shoes and go outside, and you have to run. You know, if you want to do a triathlon, you have to learn how to ride a bike. You have to know how to ride a bike. You have to know how to swim. You have to know how to run. Like, you have to do all those three things. You can't just, you know, think it's going to just happen, right? So whatever it is that you desire, or the goals that you have, or the future you that you see yourself being, what are you doing today to be that person that you want to be tomorrow, that has those things? And if you don't think that you can have those things, that's something you need to get straight with you, because you'll never get them as long as you think that somebody else is the person that has those. If you sit and think in your mind and you're like, I'm going to be a spiritual guru. I'm really good at guiding people spiritually, and I want to have my own company and, you know, help people with their spiritual practices. And, you know, if in your mind you think this person has to be like Gandalf the Great or something like that, you know, they've got to have this robe and, you know, be super wise, and maybe you think they have to be old, and maybe you do think they have to be great. Whatever it is, like, if that's your vision of the person that has what you desire, or your goals of what you want, if that's what you see that person as, but you see yourself, and let's say you saw the person that has what you want as wise and mature and older, and, you know, like all of these things, if you see yourself as young, as maybe immature, as whatever, it doesn't matter. It's in opposition to what that is. You're never going to get there so long as you don't see yourself as that person, and especially if you don't see yourself as capable of being that. That's even worse. If you know that you can get there, you're just not taking steps to be that person, then that's different than if you don't think that you can even get there. That's where you have to work on that, right? But that's what you came here for. Whatever reason, you have that passion, or you have that drive for something, you have that desire. Why is it there? It's there because you put it there. So why are you denying yourself it? And the longer that you wait, the longer that you deny the people that are supposed to receive what you are meant to bring, you're denying other people that. You're denying them that access to that. Rude. Rude. Huh. I like it. All right, so it's Monday today, and we are entering a new energetic cycle for the week. We are still integrating the Taurus full moon that happened on the 4th. We're only 4 days out from the full moon. So we're in the first week still. We're still anchoring the truths that have surfaced, and now we begin to move those truths into action. So this is the week of embodiment, not rushing, not forcing, but living the clarity you received. So whatever truths are coming up, pause and breathe into it, and then take action. So every month has these turning points where the energy shifts from revelation into integration. It's how the moon phases work and everything else that's going through with the cycles of the other planets. So today is one of those days. The pressure from the full moon has softened, the emotional charge has lifted, but the clarity still remains. So this whole week is about moving from knowing into doing. Hi, Jessica. And Jennifer. Hello, Jennifer. Moving from knowing into doing, moving from understanding into being. Thank you, love. Moving from inner truth into lived truth. It is a week where your identity is going to stabilize. Thanks, love. You have a wonderful day too. So this is a week where your identity is stabilizing. So what people get wrong about embodiment, let's talk about that, because maybe I'm just talking about embodiment and your mind has it thought of as something different than what I'm saying. So it's good to talk about what your concept is so that people understand it, so they know what you're meaning specifically. So most people think that embodiment means perfection. And I need to hear these things too. Like half the time it's an echo chamber. What I'm saying out there is just something that I needed to have reflected back to me. A lot of the messages that I channel are messages that I'm certain was a message that was meant for me first. And then I read it and was like, yeah, everybody needs to hear this, right? Like that's how it works. So some people, or most people, maybe some, think that embodiment means perfection. They think it means you never react, you never doubt, and you never feel fear. You're just cruising on through life. But embodiment is not about perfection. It's about presence. Okay, that's the important distinction here. So it is the ability to stop abandoning yourself. It is the willingness to stay in your body when the mind spirals, right? Rather than looking at a way to avoid it or to escape it or ignore it, right? And it is the choice to act from truth instead of habit, right? So it's being honest with yourself and taking action from that space of honesty, as opposed to just continually doing the same thing. If your life's like a Groundhog Day and you don't like what your life looks like, you need to change something in your life to see results of something different, right? We don't get somewhere different by doing the same things. It's not the way it happens. So it's just about presence. It's about embodying the truth of who and what you are, who and what you need to be. If you believe that in order to be a business owner that you have to be organized, let's say, and you're not an organized person, that belief system could prevent you from opening a business because you think, well, I have to be organized. I'm going to get organized one of these days. One of these days I'll get organized. Somehow I'll figure out how to be organized. I'll fix this. I'll get this. I'll figure it out. Right? And one day never comes because all you have to do is be organized. That's all, if that's what you have to do. But even that, just assess, is that what is the block between you being what you claim that you want to be? Is that the true block, or are you using that as a reason not to step into that space because maybe there's something else there, like imposter syndrome or a fear of success? Because once you become successful, the current friends and family that are around you are going to shift because, you know, a lot of people aren't going to like what you're doing now, and you're going to have to say goodbye to people. A lot of us are afraid to step up because of that. We're afraid to do the healing because we lose who we are. And that's scary, that identity shift of becoming someone new. But also, as you become someone new, of course, you're going to have new people around you now. And that's terrifying, because who's going to leave, right? So we get into this mindset of thinking that, or our ego does, I should say. It's our ego that's sitting there going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what should I, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like, what should I do? You know, like, that's the ego that's afraid. Hi, Diane. Right? So it's that you want that ego to be sitting in the passenger seat. It's a vital part of you, but it's not the one that should be directing where we're going. So we shouldn't be doing things from that space of fear or lack, or because we need attention, or, you know, like we have all these ideas of grandeur, you know, we need to be rich and famous. And not that there's anything wrong with having desires, but the desires have to come from a more innately aligned space. And for many of us, we had a reason why we came here, and it wasn't so we could have another yacht or that we could be on the magazine, like on the GQ magazine, or, you know, like we didn't come here for those reasons. So this is asking me to ask people to like my live or comment or interact in some way, because that could really help me. And I looked up and saw 294 likes, and I don't know if that's accurate, because maybe it's not updated on my side. But if it is, I would really appreciate if those of you that are watching and have been watching for a bit, tap on the screen. It's important to TikTok. It's the way the algorithm works. For me, the message is just going to reach the people it's meant to reach. So if you're here, it's because you were meant to hear something that I'm talking about. And that's just it. So embodiment is not a destination. It is a practice. So you're practicing the embodiment as a daily practice, as a daily thing. So your oversoul guidance for this week is that your oversoul is clearer this week than it has been in months. That full moon opened the channel and the energy is still flowing. So oversoul guidance this week feels like a quiet yes, a soft pull in the chest, a thought that feels clean instead of pressured, a decision that feels grounded, a direction that feels obvious, a next step that makes sense in your body, even if the mind questions it. Your body knows. That's what the decision to move for Hugs for Homeless was all about. It was in the body for sure. Everything aligned, it perfectly aligned, and I knew that's what I was meant to do and the direction that I was meant to go in. Even though my mind maybe had little moments where I was like, is this where we're supposed to be? Like, is this the right thing? Like moving away from my family and going and living and out, you know, like by myself and, you know, all this other stuff. Like, but everything aligned so much and it felt so right. And I just knew it was the right move, even if my ego and was clamoring loudly inside my head. Those thoughts from the ego, or the sound of the ego, that's all it was just trying to keep me safe. And keeping me safe means keeping me where I am. That's all your ego's thinking. Your ego, it may want things for a specific reason that maybe aren't aligned with you at all. And may have you chasing after things that will never fulfill you. And your ego may also keep you stuck, keep you frozen, because it wants to keep you comfortable, because that, like I said, that comfort space is safe. And that's all it wants to do, is keep you safe. But your oversoul is not dramatic. It is a stable, calm. It's a much different energy. It's a much different energy. So we talk about the oversoul. The oversoul is all that calm energy, not dramatic, just all stable, right? Now, The ego this week, because of all the big energy with Ophiuchus and all those placements, your ego is adjusting right now. It's recalibrating because the full moon shifted the whole inner foundation. The ego this week is more like, are we really doing this? But this is different than what we said last month. I'm not sure this is safe. I'm not sure this is safe. I don't know about this. I question you, and I don't know about this. Let me check those old patterns first. I think there's another pathway we can go. We can go through this one. We can do this one again. We can take this loop, this path again. Sure enough, we can do that again, right? We know this one. Like your ego is a little scared right now, but your oversoul is just, I've decided this is the direction that we're meant to go in. This is where. So this week is all about taking that one aligned step at a time. And that's how we do everything. It's one change at a time. It's one moment into the next. It's one breath into the next, right? So you're not rushing this, or you're not rushing into big changes. It's not, you don't have to radically switch your life overnight. You do not have to force clarity either. It's going to arrive when it arrives, and you don't have to overanalyze. Overanalyzing can just keep you crippled and keep you going in a circle. And sometimes that's just your ego continuing to question things, because if you don't know the answer, if you're questioning, then that means you're not making decisions and you're not taking action. And so your ego is doing what it wanted to do, which is keeping you in the comfort zone. And that's just the sneaky way they do it. So you're instead, hello, love, how are you? Supposed to be asking yourself, what truth did that full moon reveal? What is now collapsing? What is beginning? Because with every ending, that's a beginning that's being created, right? It's just constant beginning to beginning, 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 beginning. So if you don't look at it as an ending, you look at it as a beginning or a transition, that may make it easier to transition. So what action matches the person I am becoming? Know what you have for your belief system, how you, like, what you expect. So the person that's successful, that's doing what you want to do, if you think that there's somebody that you're not at this point in time, then either be that you want to be to have that, or get right with, why do you think that they have to have something that you don't have in order to be that? And find out that, you know, what those limiting beliefs are, and get rid of them. Right? How are you, Zandrian? Right? So we're going to do an embodiment practice in a moment, because this is the week of stabilized transformation, which is lovely. Delicious. I love my tea. All right. So we're going to put our hand on our heart. Nice. This will be a beautiful little practice for you to do before you start. That'll be a great way for you to just get really in that nice space before going live. So hand on your heart, close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in and out. Let's do another one. In and out. Each time just sinking a little deeper into that space that comes up. Another deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth, nice and slow. Now ask yourself, what does my body want this week? The next question, what does my oversoul want this week? What is ready to shift quietly and naturally is the last question. And whatever the first answer is that comes up is the right one. It's the true one. Mm-hmm. And this is how you align with your week ahead. It's that easy. It didn't take you an hour. It's not, this complex process. It's just literally 3 deep breaths with your hand on your chest and just ask yourself a couple of questions. Listen to what comes up and then take action on whatever came up. Combination. That's how you align with the week ahead. All right. So what I like to teach people is how to listen to their oversoul. I like to teach them how to stop collapsing under their old identity and how to rise into their true one. You're welcome. And that's what the work of embodiment is. And this is the work that lasts. When you embody your truth, when you actually express yourself as your truth, that makes life easy. That's when, you're not slipping back. When you hear people and like, I go on a diet and I do it and it lasts for like a week or 2, or I start working out and I do it for like, a week or 2, and then I fall off the wagon and I don't know why I do that. Why do I keep doing that? Why do I start these things that I want to do and then I stop doing them? Like, why do I keep doing that? Right? And it's because you're not in the embodiment phase of that. You haven't aligned yourself to whatever it is within that. What's your belief system around working out? So for me, I'll use this as an example. It's a beautiful example. My mom, when I was a child, she would routinely say things like, you find something to do, get outside and find something to do. And if you don't, I'll find something for you to do. And she was always threatening to make us clean. So my little child brain equated that cleaning means punishment. That's what you do when you're being punished. You have to clean when you're in trouble. You have to clean when you should just go outside. So now I'm an adult and I have a problem cleaning because I'd rather go outside or do a million other things than clean because, well, if I would just do other things, I didn't have to clean. That was how I got out of cleaning, was I just skedaddled. So now I'll go skedaddle and I won't do that because that's punishment. And when I do clean, it was like this begrudgingly kind of like, it was just not good. When I came to the understanding that that's why I felt that way about cleaning, and I switched it around. I understand why it's there. And then I started to rewrite my mind on how it works. So I started using language that was more supportive of how I want to be as opposed to how I used to be. So saying things like everything has a spot, and if you put everything in its place, you don't have to put it away twice, right? So when you're coming in the house, it's put it away, don't put it down. Put it away, don't put it down, right? If you pick something up, put it away, don't put it down. Put it away, don't put it down. So I started doing things like that to help to shift that belief system that was put in me. I didn't ask to have that feeling or belief or, that programming, but that's what happened. 333. And so you need to figure out if it's the same thing with working out. If there's something that is a block for you for working out, identify, okay, I want to have physical health. I want to be, strong. I want to be in shape. Whatever the driving force is that's in alignment with your truth, whatever it is, I want to be healthy. I want to be strong. Right? Once you're aligned with that and you know that's something that you're capable of having, and so you've addressed that. But look at that, because maybe that's something that you don't think is available for you because you don't see yourself as the healthy person. You see yourself as the unhealthy person. And you continue to see yourself like the past. That's what the ego does. It's looking in the back going, yep, that's exactly what's coming for us. That right there. Yep. Oh, yep. I just went around a corner, so I know we're going around a corner. It just keeps driving from looking out the rear view mirror. So what always happens, what's always going to happen according to your ego, what you are is what you're always going to be. And they're going to want you to stay that way because it's safe and predictable and comfortable. So you have to get to why that's there, to move it out of the way and then recode it so that you can think in different terms, or have it show up for you differently in your life. So this week we want to let it be gentle and grounded and true, right? Ophiuchus is calling all that true energy in there. And you are not becoming someone new. When we're doing the embodiment thing, we're not becoming somebody new. We're just shedding the layers of lies that we've consumed, right? For me, I naturally, and I naturally like a tidy place at the very least. I want to say clean place. That's what naturally wants to come out. So I naturally like a clean home. I was out of alignment because of the programming and the conditioning that I was. So for me, it's just remembering the truth and removing the false programming to realign. And that's what you're supposed to be doing, is just remembering your truth and realigning with that truth. So you're not becoming someone new. You're just remembering who you are, who you've always been, and as well how you're meant to live and what you wanted to accomplish in this life, why you came down here, to what your energy is that you meant to express. Yes. So a quick recap of what we covered today. We talked about that the sun is in Ophiuchus and the moon is in Cancer. So this is that grounded energy. The embodiment codes activated by the post full moon cycle, that we're working through those. So we began to explore the celestial architecture, the sun, Venus, and Mars all being in Ophiuchus, activating divine fire, soul reclamation, and masculine feminine unification. So powerful energy between those three. And then we have that moon in Cancer, which is softening the emotional body, restoring inner safety, and reconnecting to soul rhythm. So from this foundation, we moved into the core theme that this is the week of embodiment, not rushing, not forcing, but living what you know. So we clarified that embodiment is not perfection, it's presence. Why the ego may feel off this week. It's adjusting to its new internal leader, that your Oversoul is taking control and going to drive the bus from here on out. We can hope, right, that you're at that stage now. What Oversoul guidance feels like. Remember, it's that soft pull, that clear thought, that grounded direction. How to stabilize the interchange without overanalyzing or collapsing into old identity. Why your body always knows and how to ask it, right? We ask that in that beautiful little practice, and it comes up and it feels very balanced. It's not scared. It's not anxious. It's just a very balanced energy. It may feel open and expressive as well, but yeah. And then we offered the live embodiment practice, like I said, which asked, what does my body want this week? What does my Oversoul want this week? And what is ready to shift quietly and naturally. And then we closed with the knowing that you are not becoming someone new. You're just remembering who you are. And that's what the live was all about. And that's it. And Cass stayed sleeping for the whole thing. We had no interruptions from any foxes outside, because that's when he gets the loudest. Yeah. How does that feel for you, for the energy for this week? I'll be teaching Krystic astrology in March on the 20th. I am doing Bridge to Light Phase 2, which is all about embodiment. So all the stuff that I'm talking about now will be the stuff that we will be embodying through that live 6-week course. The Krystic astrology course, I'll have more details about length and all of that stuff closer to that date. Right now I'm focusing more on the Bridge to Light Phase 2. I do have 2 new books publishing this month. I have the 2nd book of Tiana, which is actually the 5th book in the series of the Unlikely Heroines, which follows 4 heroines, and they are unlikely. There's just 4 girls, Tiana, Parisa, Soraya, and Mariah, and their encounters with mythical or magical beings, like a goblin. They've befriended pixies. They have taught a werewolf to meditate, and seen a Pegasus who was afraid to fly. They go around helping things. And this book that's coming out on winter solstice is the 5th book in the series, which means we're back to Tiana again, because she's the winter girl. And Tiana in this series, she is hanging out with a phoenix who refuses to burn. And it's a book about teaching you that sometimes being completely unique, and sometimes you can be something completely new, and that doesn't mean that you still don't belong or that you're not a part of the group. You're new and different, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then I also have the next book 6 in the Luminous Soul series, and this is Infinite Wonder, and it's teaching children that they are connected to more than just themselves, that there's this infinite world that they are connected to as well. So those books are coming out on winter, or on solstice. And Bridge to Light starts January 9th, Bridge to Light Phase 2. And Krystic astrology, March 20th. I will have some mini classes that I'll be running that will be $22.22. Or you can join one of the membership groups and get it for free. So those are going to be being scheduled shortly here. I'm going to drop a couple for December, even though I know December is not a really active month for that. Maybe you're somebody like me who, has stepped out of mainstream far enough that you really don't celebrate Christmas. I don't know. But anyway, I will be advertising it for those people who do still want to do spiritual or educational things through the month of December. But I'll be more advertising for the ones that I'll be doing in January instead. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's lots going on. Go check out the website. Any questions that you have, just send me a message. All of my books, except for the journals, I think, have been added to the website as ebooks, which are cheaper by far than purchasing the books from Amazon. So you can always get an ebook version of my books there. There are mini classes as well as courses and soul alignment sessions and membership groups. And there's all kinds of things going on. But like I said, if you have any questions, just sign up for a free clarity call and we can talk. We can see what's up. I also do sacred reciprocity. I haven't talked about this in a while, but I do operate under sacred reciprocity. For any of my courses, like the Bridge to Light Phase 2, I offer the opportunity for scholarships, and I offer payment plans and stuff like that. So if there's anything that you're looking at on my site and you have questions about it or questions about the price of it, just talk to me, because sacred reciprocity could be as easy as, well, what can you afford? And you're like, well, I could pay you this much for this particular thing. And I would be like, okay, so then if you can do a testimonial, share a post, then we're good. And I would do it for you. Not everything has to be received dollar for dollar that's on my website. It's just the way that I function is through sacred reciprocity. If we want to build the new earth and we think that the new earth should have different systems, we have to create those systems. And that's the embodiment phase, right? So on my site, it's not advertised as such, but if you have any questions about the pricing or want to attend something or want to take something that's there, you want a part of something that's there, just talk with me if it's in a price range that you're not able to afford at this time, and we can make an agreement that it's like I said, it's sacred reciprocity. It's just the energy exchange has to be fair, is all. So we can find something that would work for us. Maybe you're a YouTube guru and you can repurpose some of my videos, and like you could do something like that. Maybe you know website design. Maybe you're really good at finding research, like you're really great at researching grants and stuff like that. Like, who knows? You might have talents that I, really, really could use help. And it would really help me. You never know. So we can do exchanges like that. But anyway, that's what sacred reciprocity is all about, and that is available at Anshara'El. The Bridge to Light Phase 2 stuff should be all up there. I'm going to check today. Actually, I'm going to confirm a couple of things today. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to try to do my best to be on time and be here at 1 Mountain Time. I have kind of left it that I come on at 1 or later Mountain Time, because it depends. Like if I go in town, I might not be back in time, but I do want to try to get a little bit better at showing up on time. Having a consistent time, maybe that would help you out a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. But I also like freedom. Freedom to flow, freedom to flow. Right now, I've been just doing a few more lives than what I've typically been doing anyway. Like I've been going live 5 days a week. So that might change, and then but we'll see. We'll see. Right now, I'm enjoying doing these short little lives and doing the celestial check-in, and then talking about embodiment. And with that being said, I'm going to hop off. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful Monday. Next time you show up, bring your tapping fingers so you can tap the live and give it lots of love, because that's what TikTok wants from you guys. So, be good TikTok watchers and tap, 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 or, comment or gift. Do what TikTok wants you to do. That's not for me. That's TikTok. It's asking you. I love you guys. Have a beautiful night. And same with everybody on TikTok, on Facebook and on YouTube. Love you. See you tomorrow. On TikTok and YouTube. No, I'm saying it again. On YouTube and Facebook, I love you. I love you. All right. Have a wonderful night, and I will talk with you guys tomorrow.